Hey guys, it's Papa Nasty here, and today I'm doing a video about Lord of the Rings, Rise to War, where I'm going to be specifically talking about how to counter physical DD commanders. So this is a little bit of a continuation on from yesterday's video, where if you watch that you remember that I went through the various sort of explanations of what each type of commander is, and which stats they use and which stats you can use to counter them. So our physical DD commanders are ones like sort of Dane, Bjorn, Aragorn, Shadow, Lurtz, and they usually use commander attack and commander damage as their sort of two primary stats. The stats that counter them are going to be command and unit defense. Now, with your command, you're getting your flat damage reduction. Right, so if we go into sort of here, right, we're looking at our command minus 31% damage received, and then with our unit defense, it's almost sort of in direct competition with the enemy team. So we're going to try and have higher unit defense than what they have commander attack, and then we can. And then we can decrease the amount of damage that they're dealing. If their attack's higher than our defense, then they will increase the amount of damage they're doing instead. So, the reason why we've used the setup here is because our commanders here, they're all just using purples. They're not using sort of fancy equipment or anything. This is just purples, and we've got sort of plus 12 defense to evil men. Here, plus 15, here, plus 15, and then Sauron, he's doing one better. He is decreasing the attack, defense, and focus of the enemy commanders by 15%, and that's effective on all of them. Now, we can take a look at how this sort of turns out. So here, right. So if we look at the sort of the last buff that was applied, we can see the totals that we end up with, which is 216, 202, 181, and 215 defense. So that's really solid amounts of defense. And then if we look at what Sauron reduced the enemy's attack to. Right, so he reduced Lurtz's attack down to 209, reduced it by 34, and reduced Shadow's by 29, so that he was down to 164. So this is sort of getting to the point where Lurtz is going to have only roughly the same amount of attack as what we have defense, and Shadow's going to have less defense, quite a lot less attack than what we have defense on our units. So it just really nerfs their damage down. Like you can see Shadow there, he's just at 42k, Lurtz is at 61. Shadow's probably got, he's got hunting experts. He would have buffed up his attack a little bit during combat, but he at the most he would have probably still only ended up on par with that attack that was on par with ours, and so that's why his damage has gone so low. And I mean, if you look here, you sort of see that there's a huge difference between the equipment that I was fighting against, and as well, a huge difference between the levels too. And yet I've managed to come out with a draw or a solid result. When you sort of factor in the gear and things. So this is a good way that you can potentially counter these sort of big whales and things. Obviously this was against evil, not against good. Things a little bit different when you fight good, but it's the same principle, which is that you command and unit defense is what will help you to counter the enemy direct damage commanders. This sort of setup here, he's got two physical direct damage commanders, and so it works quite well. As Saruman didn't really sort of do a huge amount of damage either, which was a little bit surprising. I thought he'd do more, but obviously that with the command sort of decreasing the amount of damage, received, and as well he's taken some sort of minus focus from Sauron as well, so that always helps. The setup here is solid. You could replace one of the commanders, put in a direct damage commander or something to try and sort of deal more damage, but then you might receive more in return too. So it's a little bit of a fine line, and you've got to sort of think about what equipment you've got and what equipment the enemy's got, because you need to be competitive with this type of setup. You do need to be sort of above 200 defense, and the higher above 200 defense you can get, the better. So obviously, if you can get some sort of gold items, like see the Cask of the Submerged Isle here, that's only got 1 gold star. If I'd put it up to 3 or 4 gold stars, then that might be an extra 20 defense, and that's just from one item. If you had 1 gold item on each of these at sort of 3 or 4 stars, an item that's sort of specific to unit defense, then you could potentially decrease. You could potentially bump up your unit defense by an extra maybe 20 or something, and that would sort of counter the Vanguard effect, I guess you could say, because obviously like the Dragoons here have got a base of 36 defense, whereas Vanguard have got a base of 70, so that's plus 34 defense from Vanguard compared to Dragoons. But Dragoons are the next best unit to use after of the units that you can train. Obviously, of course, Champions and Fallen, or Champions and Fallen are amazing as well. Champions, Fallen, Vanguard. Even actually the Gundabad ones, Warlords, are really good too, although you don't have quite as many sort of support units for them, because their support units are tier 1, your gore bag and things, because they're orcs. But you can run some really great combinations with them too. Anyway, hope this video is of help to some people, and I hope as much as anything that it sort of helps to give some players a little bit of hope. Because I know that a lot of the big sort of whales steamroll a lot of the smaller guys, and hopefully seeing that you can just use purples and still stand up to whales, hopefully that gives some people some hope. Anyway, over and out. If you've got any questions, please ask in the comments. If you want to like it, cool. Cheers. Catch you later, guys.